right? So you're just like everybody else. We call that average, right? We call that average. But if you figure out a way to bend that curve, right? Its curve is bending. If you figure out a way to straighten out that curve, because I was always taught in math that the quickest way to get from point A to point B is a straight line.
Right.
So you have to figure out the quickest way to get from here to here but also taking advantage or adhering to the principles of what this is, right? In order to participate in the promise of whatever it is, right? And Pam didn't put her phone on mute, so I'm gonna make a demerit for her.
I'll take one demerit
so
for today.
she got one. I got like 4, right? So sight beyond sight, man. You know, seeing the invisible doesn't mean you're crazy, right?
No, you have to see the invisible. I believe that that's the problem with most people in life. They pay too much attention to the very things that they can see, that's right in front of them, that's right around them, those situations, the issues, the challenges, the hurdles. And what ends up happening is they stay right there because they get consumed in the everyday life problems, situations. But we're called on this earth to live and to be a part of all these situations, because those situations help us to grow, they help us to become, they help us to really fully understand who we are. But when you realize that you gotta have that sight beyond sight, you have to be able to see the invisible, because when you're able to see the invisible, that's when the invisible now becomes visible and becomes your reality, because of the fact that you are now raising your belief and knowing that there's more beyond what you're seeing in the physical realm, and that there's got to be something else out there.
What's the practicality of that? What's the practical? Guys, I talk about practicality all the time, but let's just bring it practical, because sight beyond sight. Let's do something simple, like if you know you haven't paid your house payment in 3 months, then you're gonna go into what? Foreclosure, right? So the sight beyond the sight is I gotta pay my mortgage before it gets to this point, and not wait until it gets to that point and then get distraught.
Right.
So heading it off, right, getting to the straight line. And that's just a very practical example. But sight beyond sight goes into vision also, because Pam threw that word on me this morning. She said vision. She said I woke up with vision. I woke up with sight beyond sight.
That's crazy.
Right? So
I woke up at about you woke up early. I woke up like around 6 o'clock, and Nate was already at his desk, and he was writing. And I looked at him, and after saying good morning and all that, and I said, you know what? God said vision. Let's talk about vision. And as I looked over at his paper, as he was writing some notes, I saw the first thing on his page was sight beyond sight.
Sight beyond sight.
Sight beyond sight. Right.
So that's, I mean, it's sometimes you get those confirmations. For me, I look for those confirmations.
Right.
I want to hear them, and it's all a part of partnership. We're going to talk about that here in a moment. But sight beyond sight is absolutely amazing. Vision, it's like the vision of the grind. The vision of the grind is to help people bridge gaps through practical application, things that we've been through. One of the things I boldly say on this show is that we're never going to tell you guys anything that we've never been through ourselves. Right? We're never going to tell you anything that we're not going through ourselves. So we can't give you something that's not on the inside of us already. So we're never going to reach for straws when we give you what's here. That's why it's easy to be unscripted.
So when we talk about sight beyond sight, what's one of the situations? Share with everybody one of the situations in which you were able to see that sight beyond sight.
So I
practical.
Yeah, so I talk about sight beyond sight all the time, and I say, just because you see things that are not there yet, doesn't mean they're not there. Right. So when we were homeless, right? We can say that when we were homeless, the sight that we had could have been the sight that was right in front of us, right? We're homeless, woe is me, we're distraught. But the sight beyond sight was, how do we get out of this, right? Now that was the reactive, right? True sight beyond sight is proactive. Right?
You don't even allow it to happen.
You don't even allow it to happen. But we have to cover both bases, right? So if it already happened.
We're human.
Yeah, because we're human. If it already happened, now we have to realize, okay, how do we get through this and get past it and not wallow around in it, right? So we have to cover that piece too. So if you're in it already, don't be distraught about being in it. Figure out how you're going to come out of it by having some vision and working toward the goals, the everyday things that you do to get yourself out of it. But if you already know that there's a possibility for something to happen, then get ahead of it, right? Understand the practical part that I just used about your house, about your car, about your health. You know, if you know that, you know, your quality of life is going to be compromised when you get 60 or 70, which it typically is, you know, black men aren't expected to live past what, 65, I believe.
We rebuke that.
Yeah. But we can. I'm glad you said
Daddy
that.
is
We can
95.
look in that camera right there. We can rebuke that.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean it's not going to happen unless we put some
We gotta
action
put
to
some
it.
action to it.
Right?
Right.
And
absolutely.
this thing is all about action. If you just run around saying I'm rich, I'm highly flavored, I'm highly favored, I'm blessed, you know, I'm rich beyond measure. You keep saying those are great affirmations, right? But if you never do anything to bring that into reality, then you're just seeing things that will never happen. Because
Right.
we kind of jump on the bandwagon with certain things, man, when we say, you know, faith is, you know, seeing those things that are not as though they were.
Right.
Right? And then the second part of that is then get out and go put your butt to work.
Right, because
to get
faith
it.
without works is dead. So
Faith
if there's
without
no
works is
works, you're
dead.
not gonna. I mean, what's the good
Yeah.
in sin?
Right.
I mean, you gotta put some action to it. in
But
order
this
to
is
go
blessing
down.
somebody today, because somebody needs to understand that you just can't sit around waiting for your blessings.
Right.
Right? They're there. They're there.
That naming and claiming stuff don't work. I'm sorry.
You just named it.
All right.
But you didn't really claim
We
it.
named it for a long
That's like
time.
saying, Lord, I'm named